How are things going for you?
Good, good, good.
Good.
Yeah,
How was the class this last week?
it was amazing. I mean, every week it's like I wish that I had the knowledge that I'm getting from this course all this last year. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah. I think that yeah, I mean just give yourself some grace,
Mm,
that it's all perfect timing,
yes.
and don't try to beat yourself up for, wish I could have, would have, you know, previously. But you're here now, and there's so much healing available for ourselves, and for the people moving forward. But I think I think that's why I love this program so much, is because there's just so much healing that happens. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, it's really good to see you. I'm excited that you're here. The Irina, if you want to come on camera, you're welcome to. Would love to see your face, but if you don't, that's okay too. I just want to welcome you. I'll wait just maybe a minute more before we get started. I have a couple of notes I wanted to share with you guys, but really just wanted to check in and answer any questions that you might have. Irina, I'm gonna ask you to unmute if you want. You're welcome to come on, but really just wanted to check in and see how your week is going and how the homework is going. And then maybe we can, oh, here comes one more person. And maybe we can just kind of touch bases. I'm excited about the happy hour. So, a happy half hour. So, we'll be able to kind of allow you guys to connect. Hi, Sydney. Welcome. Hi.
My audio. Hold on.
That's
Good morning to you all.
good morning, Irina. Welcome.
Sorry, I don't want to put the camera on because I just came from work.
No problem. No
I
problem.
don't look that good, and yeah, I can hear you guys. So you can hear me now. I'm running a care home, a hospice home.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So yeah, I've been up all night. I don't look that great. I don't want to show my face. Sorry.
That's okay.
Stop.
Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Oh my gosh. Where are you located again, Irina?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my
So
gosh. How many residents do you have in your care home?
right now I have four.
Okay.
All of them are on hospice. Yeah, I've been doing this for many years. At least
Wow.
hospice for the last 15.
Wow. Wow. Are you the owner operator?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh. What a job. What a job. Thank you for doing the work that you do. I hope that you have some support there. Do you have
Not much. It's very hard to find helpers, qualified helpers.
yeah.
So right now I have my mom. She's the one who helps me, and we have another lady as a relief caregiver. But yeah, I love what I do, and for one moment, a couple years ago, right after COVID, actually, I wanted to give up. I was so burned out that I said, no more. I cannot do it. But yeah, I changed my mind. I don't know who made me change my mind, but I did, and I'm still there, and I'm still taking care of those lovely elderly, and it's very, very rewarding. It's I don't know how to explain.
I think it's difficult to find words when we are working
Very,
at
very,
that level of
very hard.
service.
I
I'm
have
not
a
I
I
understand.
have a little lady. She's been with me for the last 3 years on and off hospice. So she's like, family to us now.
Wow. She is
Yeah.
family. Yeah. Are the
Yeah.
can I ask, are there families involved?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. They have a lot of denial. I don't know. It's hard, For example, for this lady, she doesn't know her family. Her family comes to see her son, and she would not recognize him. So for a while, I was pretty, I don't know, maybe too harsh to say judgmental towards him. It's like he was coming to the door just to check, talk to me. How is she doing? But he would not walk in to her room. I was like, why you don't want to go see mom? And he started crying and he said, I know it's my mom, but it's not the mom I know. And then I figured out, how hard it is for him.
Oh, I just feel your heart. Oh my gosh, you're doing such amazing work. Thank you so much. It is it is hard to not have judgment, and sometimes, I personally just want to shake people. I'm like, you're missing it. She's still here. You're
Yeah,
missing it.
exactly.
But,
Exactly.
but they are on their own journey, and all we can do is encourage and support where they are at. And, he may or may not ever get that opportunity, but yeah, oh my
I
gosh.
encourage him as much as I can and I could,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
he's coming not very often, but he's coming and just, hi mom, and she will say something,
But
but mumbling, not, it's more like gibberish.
sure.
Um, he's just, hi mom, nice to see you, and he leaves. But yeah, with a little
Mm.
encouragement, yeah, he had, and I tried to talk to him and I explained him, as much as I could and as much as I know, the process and all of that. And maybe she knows that he's coming, but she cannot talk. She cannot, you know, tell him in real words that, hey, I know you coming to see me.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited that you're here. Thank you for all the work that you're doing and that you will continue to do. I wish we lived closer. I would come support you. Portland's a bit a ways away, but um, yeah, you're just doing the work already, and I'm so excited for you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
sharing
Denise.
all of that. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Beautiful. What a way to start the morning. Good morning. Hello, Grace. Hello, TJ. Hi, Antonia. Hi, Clarice. Good to see you. TJ, I see just the top of your head. If you would like to move your camera down, we'd love to see you, but if not, that's okay. Um, but I am so excited that you guys are here. Thank you for sharing your morning with me. Let's see, I have a couple of uh, thoughts before we open it up. Just Suzanne had asked me to maybe just check in with you guys to see how things are going, and then also just open it up for any aha moments that you guys have had so far in the program. And then maybe think about sharing the top three things that you've learned so far. And, it's been interesting in the Facebook group. Everybody has I've just saw a couple people post of, the little bits and pieces that they really were able to connect with in the last training. So just really wanted to just open it up. This is very casual. You can take yourself off mute. There is no rules in this group. This is all about you guys asking questions and connecting. And then in about 45 minutes, we're going to break out into breakout rooms. So again, we're going to practice my technical skills and put you guys on in breakout rooms so that you guys can connect with one another. So welcome. I'm just going to be quiet, and you guys just, you can either just take yourself off of mute, or if you want to just raise your digital hand, whatever feels right for you. But I'd encourage you, for those that are off camera, um, feel free to join us. But also, if you aren't comfortable coming on camera, you can always just chat in the chat as well. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. So I'm gonna be quiet and let you guys take the floor. Don't be shy. Yeah, go ahead, Antonia.
I'll start if nobody else is jumping in.
Perfect. Perfect.
First of all, I'm really glad to be here, Christine. Thanks for this. It's my
You're
first
welcome.
one.
Welcome, welcome.
And hi, everyone. So I've shared a little bit about this in one of the Facebook groups. I think not our spring semester one, the other bigger one. But anyway, hi, Clarice. So and I think I shared on the last live class too, that my Tia Lydia was transitioning. So she died a week ago Thursday. And it was just a really interesting process of witnessing, I guess is probably a better word, the death process, because she was from Sunday to Thursday, she had nothing, no nutrients or anything, just oxygen and morphine. And I kept saying, what is keeping her here? Because I really do believe that people die for a certain reason. Again, I'm so new at this, but like still, I've been through it a couple times, and I think that there's a time for a reason. And what was really interesting with her was that her aide, she was 92 with Parkinson's, she had this aide for a while who got really close to her, woke up that morning and said, Lydia needs to listen to the mass, because she was a devout Catholic. So they put the mass on for her, so she could hear it, because again, hearing is the last sense to go, I'm learning. And a couple hours later, they announced a new pope the same day. So she got to hear that. And then I had said to her nephew a couple of days before, I really think you need to get a priest here and get her the last rites. I think she needs that last thing. And he did that. And an hour later, she let go. And it was just, like I said, just kind of wild and beautiful and sad and all the things to witness. So, and we buried her on Monday on a beautiful, gorgeous day in New York. Like the weather was perfect because we've had a lot of rain. It was just beautiful, you know, sunny and like 70 and just perfect. So I wanted to share that. I really think being in the training support, I was able to process my loss and, you know, and losing her, and also be there for her very significant nephew who took care of her, and her aide, and a couple of these cousins. You know, there wasn't a lot. When you're 92, there's tends not to be a lot of people around. And by the way, she never got married or had kids or anything. She's a very independent lady. So yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. Antonia, Sydney was asking, where are you located?
I just saw that. I'm going to answer. I'm in New York City.
Oh my gosh, she just gave me goosebumps, Antonia. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. You know, I think we have we think, okay, she's ready to go. She's ready to go. Why is she hanging on? And so your ability to really be able to support her in a way that was meaningful and recognize that's huge. Huge. Oh my gosh. You know, I think that we can't minimize the impact that we have on people, and then also the work that we're stepping into. You know, like you were mentioning, you know, she was on oxygen and morphine. Why, you know, she should have been comfortable. Why was she hanging on? And so your ability to really be able to see that, you know, we're more than just our physical body. We're emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, you know, just, you know, energetic. It's just like sometimes people need some extra support that is outside of the medical realm. And so, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I'm so sorry about your loss, but it just sounds like it was as beautiful as it could possibly be. So, job well done, Antonia. Job well done. And now we get to work on our grief.
But I just want to say too that the other learning for me, I hope I'm not taking up too much time. Tell me if I am.
Nope.
No. The other learning for me, because I'm a highly sensitive person, textbook, Christine. I kind of feel like you are too. I kind of get that from you. I cry at insurance commercials. If a dog gets hurt in a movie, I am you know, like I can't watch graphic violence. I'm so sensitive. So the other thing that I learned about myself this week, because I like to consider myself a lifelong learner, is I was able to handle this. I was really able to step up as a doula, not hired, not getting paid, not even trained yet, but I was doing the work, and I wasn't falling apart as close to this woman as I am and was, like she was I called her my tia because she was like family, and I saw her all the time. She lives in my building. So I'm just like, wow, I really made this really great. It reaffirmed the choice to train as a doula, because I think there was a little piece of me in the back of my head going, can I really handle this? And I'm like, if I could do this for somebody that I was so close to, I could definitely do it for strangers. So that was like a huge learning, and also like a relief going, okay, this HSP thing is not going to like rule my life all the time. You know what I mean? I want to talk about the forgiveness stuff. I haven't even started because of so much going on, but I've been thinking about it, and I have a lot of stuff with my family, and I just want to kind of just throw that out there as a big concept that like I need to get started. I was just talking to my therapist about it. It's a really big one. I want to do it. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to start this weekend. Actually, I'm going to start working on this, on the like writing the letters and stuff like that, because there's a lot for me there. Anybody else?
Oh my gosh, Antonia, I'm a work in progress. You know, I feel like I've pulled back a layer on my forgiveness work, and then there's more. You know, and it's just
Right.
this. To me, it's this onion that just keeps peeling back, and sometimes things like I mentioned in class, something just kept bubbling up with my son. Something that I did when he was younger. I scolded him. I was really firm, and I just kind of lost it for a moment, and that really bothered me, you know. And he was like, "Mom, I don't even remember that." And I'm like, "I know, but I remember it, and I really need to say I'm sorry, and owning up my um cleaning up my side of the street." And so, but I feel like what happens, and I've witnessed this too many times to deny that this absolutely happens in my mind, is that if you don't clear up this stuff now, it will bubble up at the end. And I've listened to too many near death experiences, and I've seen so many last breaths that we do somewhat of a life review, and all of this stuff bubbles up. And I am not minimizing the work that this is a big ask, but as you just said, Antonia, that when we step into this space to be of the highest service for people at the end of life, we have to remember that it isn't about us at all. This is not about us. And practicing a term I use a lot is being the hollow bone. So I can bear witness to people's journeys, but I don't have to get pulled into things can become sticky if we aren't in full alignment, and so things begin to stick, and then it brings up things that maybe things are unhealed within ourselves. And so I think that's why I love this program so much, because it's preparing us to do the work that we are called to do. And it is not easy taking care of all of these things that it's like putting off the inevitable. And so it's okay, give yourself some grace
Yeah.
about doing the forgiveness. Think about maybe, because it's not going to be easy, but it might take you the full 12 weeks to get them done. And that's completely fine. This is not a homework assignment that's going to be turned in a week. We're just here to support you. And yeah, thank you for all of
I
that.
just love what you said about, because I know that it's not just, I'm very angry at my family because I took care of my mom and they didn't show up for 5 years. That's probably my biggest one.
Sure.
Big extended Italian family. But just, I know that also that I need to make amends to certain people for certain things, and there's also a big thing, and I've been working on this for a while, is forgiving myself for some choices in my life and stuff like that. So it's not all externally. Again, I'm hoping everybody can relate, I just want to say that I'm not sitting here going, I'm perfect today. I just, these people, it's like, I know that I got a lot of stuff to own. And so thank you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think I've mentioned this before. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is one of my favorite people, and early on in my journey, she talks about there are just two things that we are asked at the end of life, and it's our ability to give and receive love and to be of service. And so stepping into the space to be of service is what we're all called to be. Giving love is so easy for all of us. It's so easy, but to receive love that's the hard part. That's the hard part. And so this forgiveness is not necessarily about forgiving other people. It's forgiveness of ourselves that will truly set you free. So good work. Good work. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Grace. Good to see you. I love your headband.
Good morning. Thank
Good
you
morning.
all for being here. I needed a little hit of positive energy, and although we're dealing in a topic that can be sad, the power and the love and positivity that I find in doula givers is beautiful. Antonia, I am so sorry for your loss. I do want to say, if I might, I think a lot of us, in my experience with the Doula Givers program, are empaths, are highly sensitive people. And I have come to experience that for myself as really empowering me to be present in a different way for people. I can be so aware of needs that are unspoken. I can, really use that as a gift that I used to consider a real burden. It can really challenge us in life to be so sensitive and to take on the energy of the world around us and the people we care about in particular. So just maybe a tiny bit of a different way of looking at it. It's really a gift that empowers me to do this work in a more effective way. While also the tools that I've learned along the years to help cope have become a very important self-care practice, and that without that I could not be doing this. We're all working through forgiveness all the time. I think it's a lifelong journey through grief. Once you experience a loss, it does not go away. It changes, but it does not go away. And there's just been so much beautiful learning on that. So yeah, I think for all of us, we can look at the gifts that we're given that bring us to this work, and be sure we see them as gifts. Everything in the universe is conspiring for us. Just sometimes need to give it space to show us that. I'm working this morning on a eulogy for a friend who passed last week. She was 95. 2 days before she passed, we had this very extended conversation comparing the similarities and disparities of the world religions, because the woman never stopped learning. She was curious, she was vibrant, and I saw her body failing, and I knew, her physical body just couldn't contain that spirit any longer. But it's such an honor to work on the eulogy. Her family didn't think any of them could do it, and so I was honored to have them ask me to do that for them. And there's so many beautiful, beautiful memories. And of course, at 95, not many of us get 95 years. and she really never wavered in her authenticity and who she was as a person who definitely had struggles but did not waste time on regret. And that's something I really want to learn from her. So it's just I was able to be present. I was able to encourage her children to talk to her right up till the time she passed. She had told them she was ready to die. But at different, and while she was definitely in her deep sleep coma for the last probably 24 hours or more. As we all spoke with her, she would just smile the tiniest bit. I knew she was hearing us. And two of them in particular were struggling to kind of embrace that, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, it's all their own experience. Um, so it's a beautiful thing. And while I was certified last October. I think it's been such an honor to be part of this organization and to do this work. And so I just wanted to kind of absorb some of this new and excited energy about moving forward this morning. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you all for being here.
I love that, Grace. Thank you so much. You just exude this wisdom that I want to kind of absorb. So, yeah, thank you. I think you're right about your friend, about what a beautiful example of no, not holding on to those regrets, right? And just learning from them, letting them go. That's finding peace and compassion for ourselves. And I love how you brought in the self-care piece. Like that is so important for self-care. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, Grace, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Just want to brag on Grace, just to let you guys know. Grace is a recent graduate, and we did a project. Suzanne had offered this. It was a contest. Can I brag on you, Grace? And you can share a little bit too if you want. But it's so uh, Doula Givers offered uh, a prize for people to do a project called the Peace of Mind Planner. It was a mini Peace of Mind Planner, and that's something that you guys are going to be able to work on after you graduate. But it's available to really be able to walk folks through. I'm just gonna mute everyone just because there's a little bit of background noise and there's a little bit we're recording, so I'm just gonna mute. Um, there we go. And so Grace had uh like blew my mind how many she did, but she did the Peace of Mind Planner, which really it's way more than advanced directive. It is something that helps people bring in all components of spiritual, emotional, financial, all these components to help prepare for your end of life experience, and then give you a peace of mind. And it is an incredible thing that you can offer your clients. And so Grace like blew, I don't even know, did anybody get close to your number? I think, did you have 12 people? She just won this prize, and I was just, my jaw dropped going, OMG, she did amazing. So good job, Grace. Like, you've inspired me in so many ways. So yeah, I think the beauty of this is that we all get to find our niche. So some folks really want to be at the bedside, being the end of life doula for, we call it the 11th hour, or just really being that person at the end. But our doula work is so much more than that. And so sometimes, and it can be kind of heavy. So we typically don't want to do more than one end of life doula client at a time that is nearing their final stages. And so there's the two other components of our work is the elder care, which you can help just support people, offering respite, taking people to appointments and things like that. And then also the care consultant piece, which is helping guide people through those important those forms and paperwork and end of life planning. So those are all just things that can really truly support you as you build your practice. So more to come. So don't worry about that right now, but really just know that this truly is a program that can really embrace things that you're really interested in, and there's all the tools provided. So Grace, thank you so much. Excellent, excellent. Anyone else would like to share just any things that you're learning so far? Anything, any aha moments, or anything else that you'd like to talk about? And you can just come off mute or just raise your hand, whatever feels right. Good to see you, Sheila. Welcome. I know
Hi.
Clarice said that she's working. You know what? You know what, Sheila? You're kind of breaking up there. Feel free to hop in. Any other TJ? It's good to see you. Hello. Good morning. I know Clarice said that she's working. Um, Anybody who would like to share? Don't be shy. I am just excited that you guys are here. I Did you want to say something, Sydney? Go ahead.
Sure, I can.
Yeah.
I could say a lot of things, but just something that just came into my head about realizations. So I have one of my very dearest friends is in palliative care. She's dealing with pancreatic cancer, although she's already been dealing with it for some time. I didn't find out until January, but she was diagnosed in November of 2023. So for pancreatic cancer, that's a long, a long spell. And I guess, well, my brother died of pancreatic cancer. I've been around a lot of illness and death and things, but one thing that really struck me with this last class, when I was just sitting here, I was just thinking about listening to you guys, is that the realization that she's really in this very prolonged stabilization phase. And I was just with them. I don't live near them any longer. I'm in Massachusetts and they're in Wisconsin. And I will be going back and forth quite a bit because I want to be able to support them as much as possible. But one thing that I noticed when I was there, and I was there as a dear friend. I wasn't there as anything else, just but I noticed that they're, even after all this time, they're just kind of getting started with a few little odds and ends of things, to prepare. And I did start to talk to her husband, who's also a very close friend. Luckily, I'm very close to both of them. But just the realization of how, and she's been very lucky so far. I mean, she's not lucky, but she's been very lucky. She's young. She's only in her mid-50s. But this prolonged phase of, she's just doing everything she can she's still working as much as she can. She's a choir director for her church, and she works with children, so she finds that very rewarding, even though it's exhausting. And she's, she comes home and she's in the easy chair and she's out. She's just started with a morphine patch, and but just how prolonged this phase is for her, and all the things that she's trying to live her best life right now. 2 of their 3 children got married this past year. They rushed it a bit, and I'm just cognizant of that. I don't think I was as cognizant, it was more like, okay, I wonder how long this is gonna be before I don't know what the thing drops, because pancreatic cancer is tough, right? So but that was really helpful for me. And now one of her children's expecting a baby in September, and I'm wondering, like, like, do we have the summer? Is she's gonna hold, until that baby, so it's just things like that. And also realizing there was a piece, and trying to figure out how I could maybe talk to her husband a bit, or just try to introduce maybe getting some of these things taken care of, for her, so it's a little easier. But yeah, that was helpful. That was helpful for me. And I don't think in my other experiences that I've been, well, perhaps I just wasn't as aware of this middle stage being so long, that she's managed to really pull it out. And obviously we hope she continues to do that for as long as she's comfortable, but yeah, the realization that these other pieces would be good if we could get them in now while she's more able, so.
Oh my gosh, beautiful. She's so lucky to have your support there. I think
Well,
sometimes people, pardon, it's both goes both ways, huh? Yeah. I think sometimes, especially not that, I mean, it could be a little bit of denial, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, but also it could be, is she on hospice yet?
No,
Okay, so really, sometimes um, we get some time because we're living our fullest and best life, right? So she's living fully, right? I mean, this is a
fully.
beautiful gift for her to. I mean, it's incredible. It's an incredible opportunity, and I think sometimes, not always, in my experience, is that the timing of hospice is so important. But I also think that the timing of having the conversation about hospice is so important too. A majority of the time, people wait and get admitted to hospice too late. And so I mean, the average length of stay on hospice is about 14 days. And sometimes people get admitted 12 hours before they pass away. It's way too late for that extra layer of support. They're managing, it sounds like they're doing a great job managing her pain, right? She's going to be starting on this morphine patch, which will take some time getting her body getting used to that extra layer of medication. But people are on pain patches can be long term, right? So yeah, I think sometimes when we have conversations with people, those are really difficult conversations to have. But also, what I've seen in my experience is that sometimes when people get on hospice a little earlier than expected, then the focus can almost not as if people are giving up, but there is kind of this assumption that people are giving up, even though they're receiving all this additional support. So oftentimes when people get on hospice, it's kind of like their pain is not under control or their symptoms are really exasperated. And oftentimes with pancreatic cancer, nausea and pain are kind of the biggest ones. And so getting someone on sooner than later is ideal, but she's living life so fully that um, that those are difficult conversations to have. I have a friend who just passed away a few months ago from ALS, and I even just with my training and background and stuff, it was a hard conversation. She was nonverbal. She had lost her ability to speak for a couple of years and wasn't able to eat. So she had been on tube feedings for a while. So communication was getting more and more difficult with her, and having those conversations are really hard. Have you planned? Is there a plan? And so I would test the waters and just encourage you to just be. I mean, she obviously knows what you're doing, Sydney, I'm sure. So sometimes, or have you told her that? Have you told her?
well, I was doing some of this prior, so I haven't told her that I'm taking this now, actually.
Okay.
But they already knew that I mean, I've worked in elder care and I've been working end of life and stuff for a while, so they've
Okay.
known about it. But I really, when I was there, I was very sort of just really feeling her out. I was able to have deeper discussions with her husband, which was fine. And he, as luck would have it, actually, is not working this year. So he's just sort of stepped into that role of support for her. But I think there is this, I mean, yeah, they're just really trying to cram as much as they possibly can into every day, like, oh, our favorite comedian is in Chicago. We're going to go down for the night. Oh, this is happening. I mean, they're doing, it exhausts me just thinking about what she's doing, but yeah, and that is a real lesson too, You know, it's a real lesson for all of us. It's like we should be remember the joy that we have of being here. And, you know, everything is so precious. But yeah, thank you. I'm a little tricky because it's not a client, but I would like to, you know, I've told them I'd be there for them completely. So just how to bring in some of these things without upsetting the apple cart, because she's sort of starting to look at it, but I don't quite want to go there and gets upset, you know, and yeah, so.
Well, and you know, Suzanne talks, she says this all the time, living one little lifetime in every day. I mean, that's my wish for everybody. And it sounds like that's what she's doing. And you know, her being open, I'm sure that she has an awareness if she's going on the morphine patches or the fentanyl patches, whatever patches she's getting.
Totally.
So she's aware. And I think oftentimes from my experience is that uh, folks may it's kind of heavy, right? Talking about death all the time. Like they know they have this awareness. And so um and they, you know, I go back to also a woman who I took care of who had pancreatic cancer. And, you know, I was her hospice nurse, but you know, we would kind of get through the nuts and bolts of how's your symptoms, taking care of anything. You know, bowel management is a huge thing also with pancreatic cancer. And so it's like, she's just like, let's just like, how are you? What's going on in your life? And so we would dip in just a little bit and then we would dip back out. And so I think that you're doing an amazing job. I think also we can kind of be able to work in the area of you just being able to be that complete loop for her husband. You know, the focus might be more of supporting her husband in the journey too, because it sounds like he's helping. He's like an amazing support person for her. So yeah.
He's very lucky. He's,
Wonderful.
yeah, bless his
Yeah.
heart. But it's
Oh,
scary,
awesome.
you know, because he's not trained as a school teacher. So, um, you know, social studies, you know, he's like, I don't know. So but the utter devotion, and yeah, it's very nice. So, but thanks a lot.
Beautiful. You're welcome. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Please keep us posted on the journey. You know, I think that walking that path with people, you know, those I think those and we're going to go more into as we go through this program together. There is so much rich conversations to have, but we'll go through the top 10 diseases of disease processes for end of life and pancreatic cancer and you know, ALS and some of those, all, you know, all of them, all the diagnoses are difficult, but for some, there's just particular attention that if we can kind of help stay ahead of the tight symptom management to help support people, it really can be so helpful for people. Yeah. Yeah.
My partner died of ALS, so I get that. I'm sorry about your friend. It's terrible, terrible illness.
Yeah. You guys will notice you're going to notice a trend as you go along with your work too, that you might have a previous experience with just your own personal experience or just clients that you work with. You're going to be known in your community, in your circle of certain things. And I seem to be the ALS person because I have, I don't know, 8 or 10 clients, friends, family. I don't know what's going on, but it's so you're going to notice a trend if you have personal experience with traumatic loss. Like all of a sudden, you're going to get lots of clients who have had traumatic losses, and just be aware that that probably will happen because they will find you. Yeah, yeah.
So if that's the case, and you've had, for instance, my partner passed away of ALS 10 years ago. I guess what comes to mind is then having to do your own work around your own trauma with that illness or that particular experience of circumstances, you know, of it bringing back own personal memories or.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think it's important to really do our work. you know, because it sometimes if we haven't done our work, it's like peeling off a band-aid, and then it becomes about us, and then we're really ineffective when if we aren't healed from our own losses, that it can really cause a barrier because we inject our stuff, and you know, we have to remember that we have to stay in our lane, and you know, and I still, when I, you know, we're all empathic as everybody is sharing, you know, but really I can't help but be moved if I am there at someone's last breath, or, you know, if there is this, I mean, you can't help but be moved by the experience. If you're not being moved by the experience, then maybe perhaps there's something else different that we need to be doing. But you know, we can't be falling apart either. You know, I mean, it's okay to have a few tears, but really, or just go out in our car. I don't know how many times I've lost it in my car afterwards, but really being as professional and just being mindful, you know, of checking ourselves, of just being that hollow bone, and just allowing those emotions and things to move through us. Yeah, that I call it the no attachment rule, of just allowing things to just kind of move through me. So yeah, but it takes work. It takes work. Yeah. And it's not a one and done thing, my dear. Not a one and done thing. So thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, Grace, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Yes,
Hi.
I was just thinking, Sydney, perhaps one of the ways to approach support and planning could be the conversation that we are all going to die. God forbid, I can be hit by a bus this afternoon and be gone. And there were a lot of some of the peace of mind planners I did were with very young people in their 20s. And because they just said, yeah, I'd rather make these choices than leave my parents or whomever out there hanging, wondering, trying to figure out. And it might be something to do peace of mind planning with both your friend and your friend's husband, and just to acknowledge that it's a normal part of life. We are all going to die. And maybe she has 5 more years, 10 more years. We don't know. The cure for pancreatic cancer could show up, right? Or her determination, her will really seems to be a big part of it. But certainly that is one way that I have found that people can sort of embrace the concept a little bit more, going, it's just planning. And as Suzanne will say, you know, you wouldn't have a baby without planning for it. And those are really the only two definites. If you're born, you're going to die. Taxes are not a definite in across the world, right? All of humanity, though. So we really have, I think, an opportunity, and they're living, you know, their best life. That is so beautiful. But to really be able to think those things through, and then think about how do I continue that quality of life when my physical capacity is diminishing, or my intellectual capacity or emotional capacity, when those different energy bodies begin to deteriorate. What's most important to me then? How do I keep that as long as I can? And to be able to make those choices, kind of get it out of the way, if you will, and then be able to say, okay, we're going to Chicago for a play. We're going to Chicago for a comedian, whatever it is they want to do, for a boat ride on the Great Lake, whatever they want, you know, but they don't have to, it's something they can stop because you know they can't not be thinking about it. So let's just address it, get it over with, and then move forward. Just my thought.
No,
And I
agree.
think for like everybody, That's why I really enjoy doing the peace of mind planners. The minis are great. The more extensive ones are really, really powerful and take time and take pretty extensive thought, reflection, conversation. And it's just an honor to be part of that process with people. It really is. And that certainly is something that you could do remotely over Zoom. Meet with them and have those conversations.
I did get them started. They have a book now called When I Am Gone that she's starting to work on for her kids. And I introduced them to the 5 wishes and things like that. So I did sort of start to introduce that. I think they're beginning. I'm going to check in with him again, but I mean, I want my kid, I've got 4 children at ages 24 to 32, and I'm wanting them to do the 5 wishes workbook, you know, and they're looking at me like, you know, I have 3 eyes, but
When you get to the 9 choices document in Doula Givers, you won't want to use the 5 wishes, because this is so much more comprehensive.
I don't have it yet, so I have to work with what I have.
It's a beautiful, beautiful tool. Beautiful. And it incorporates the 5 wishes, but then gets more expansive as well.
I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you so much, Grace. Yeah, good stuff. So the 9 choice document is on the Doula Givers website under free resources. So you have access to that. And I want to, yeah, so it's available now. You can take a peek at that. And let me just go online really quick to that, because I think there's so many free resources there. You guys have, like, there's so much. Let's see, planning ahead. So, yep, the Doula Givers 9 choice advanced directive is there. There is a caregiver checklist that's free. There's the forgiveness guide. There's so many amazing things. Let me see what else. There's a grief guide there. There is all these support system trackers that we're going to go over in more detail when we are in class together. I thought that yeah, so the peace of mind planner is not on there, but that will come. So, Grace, yeah, thank you so much for all of that. You know, legacy work is so important, and so it sounds like you're already supporting her. I love it. I love it so much. There was a couple questions in the chat, Antonia. Someone had mentioned the book club, and so I wasn't able to participate in the book club yesterday, but I heard it was amazing. So it's did anybody do the book club yesterday? Oh, Grace, yeah. So do you want to talk briefly about that?
Sure. Yes, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. You know, I've been so blessed to hear Suzanne introduce how she came into this work a number of times, and yet every time I hear her speak on it and feel her deep, deep commitment and energy and foundational need to do this work. It is such an inspiration. And there were some really, really good questions. I think anybody participating in the book club has, and it may well be on the semester's uh, availability of tools as well. There's a workbook with a number of different questions, and they're very thought provoking. And there has been, you know, I have to say, as Christine, you mentioned earlier, the concept of the onion. You know, I've been peeling layers and layers and layers every time I go through any one of the activities, whether it's the forgiveness work or whether it's working 9 choices with others. My choices change or expand, and then just to, you know, even the most beautiful question that came up in the first class of this live semester If you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, what do you need and what do you not need? Wow, was that thought provoking. And while I had done it before, my answers, my perspective was so different from when I began last summer to study this work to a couple of weeks ago. And so I think that's one of the things the book club really does. I think, because it's the Good Death book, it's going to be very, very closely related to the work that we get in the training and the semesters. But the repetition, I always find you take a little bit more away in a different perspective each time you hear it. And I would just highly recommend. It's also on replay. So, which I think is brilliant. If people are unable to attend during the workday. So I would highly encourage anyone to listen to those replays. Yeah, just beautiful work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Grace. Yeah, I'll definitely listen to the replay. When I read her book, it was like I was in tears so many times. I'm like, thank you for telling the truth. Thank you. The world needs to know what's happening. Like, I don't know why in my, in the world of the medical field, like nobody's talking about this. And I'm thinking, what are we waiting for? We have to talk about this. And so she did such a beautiful job of like telling the truth and helping to prepare. So yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you were able to participate in that. I look forward to the next one. Yeah, thank you so much. Antonia, go right ahead.
Just a quick logistical question.
Yeah.
Is there information, because you keep saying this is online and that's online. I know there's so much. It is a little overwhelming, and that's why I'm behind. But I'm just wondering, is there more information, not training, but more information about the other two certifications? Because we're in the
Yeah.
same, but I'm really jazzed about the second one. Like I think that's going to be my bread and butter, the care
Love it.
consultant. So
Perfect. Yeah. So in your classroom, you should already have access to the other two trainings. So whenever you signed up, I can, if you want, do you want me to show you where it's at?
yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
If we have the time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna screen share here. Can you guys see my screen okay? Okay. So let me minimize this. Okay, so let me log in real quick and then
Oh, I see.
so you'll log into your classroom. And so here is your certified
see.
end of life doula training. So and then here's your elder care training, and then here's your care
Okay.
consultant training. I don't know if your peace of mind planner stuff has been turned on yet, but there's your forgiveness workshop. So what I would do is also spend some time with, if you're having difficulty, and I totally understand. I'm still learning, Antonia, about all that's available, because there is a lot, and we could spend a year on all of just even the free stuff that Doula Givers offers, but really doing a deep dive in all of the trainings available. So I've the care consulting piece and the elder care you should already be able to start training. We do encourage people to just really do one thing at a time, just to really, because this live semester is so special, and we're only going to have 12 weeks together, and then the rest of the stuff is the self-paced. So the care consulting piece and the elder care are on your self-paced program. So once you are done with the end of life doula training, then we encourage people to dip into that. But you're welcome to do it all at the same time. But really, we really want people to really embrace the live semester, because it's just such a robust program all in it of itself. It's a lot to take in. So yeah, so check it out. I would encourage you to just check it out. And then also, Erica, on Tuesdays would be able to support you guys with all the tech stuff too. So yeah, does that answer your question? Is that helpful?
Yeah, and I'm not trying to jump ahead. Like I said, I just kind of want to peek at it, like
Yeah.
like I said, I'm already behind, so I'm not trying to like be
Yeah.
Superwoman. but,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to come.
And ultimately,
Yeah.
you guys could have all three certifications in 16 weeks. Like if you really wanted to just power through, the elder care training and the care consulting piece are all pre-recorded, and you could, do a training every day and really be able to work through it quickly. So it's so powerful. Yeah, I'm excited for you. Yeah, excellent. So Sheila says, I had the same reaction as you, Christine. I thought my work in dementia care prepared me for much of this until I read the book. Yep, it was very powerful. Yep, made sure that we were in the right direction. Absolutely. And Grace says, while the course is online, self-paced, the modules are released within a time frame that ensures that you have time to really work through the previous module. You can work through it, just take your time and really dig in. Yeah, thank you, Grace, for that reminder. And Irina put, for me personally, with every one of my patients, I do attach so much to them. And when their time is on earth is done, still after so many years doing this grief so much, I have grief so much and I have so much hard times detaching that sometimes I need to take some time alone and come back to reality and be the support for others. This training and hearing everyone has helped me so much already. I love that. Irina, thank you for the work that you're doing. I think we need to really honor that this is, this is deep work, inner work that we're doing for ourselves, but we're stepping into the space of being of service at the highest level. And I think that there's, again, I think if it doesn't affect us deeply, if we're not moved by this, then maybe we need to be doing something else. And to be honest with you, I have been doing death work for a while, and I personally am just having to step back a little bit just to kind of self-monitor my own uh, monitoring my own, because I just came out of two big losses. They were yeah. So I have to come back up for air is what I call it. And my husband has a cancer diagnosis himself, and we're navigating our own journey, and he's doing well, but at the same time, I think that when we are in it all the time, we have to find balance. And I love that big part of our program is finding that self care, finding that component of how we can really feel alive when we can't help but be moved when we're helping people at the end of life. It's almost like a breath of fresh air. It's almost like they're breathing life into us because they're reminding us that we only have today. And so making sure that you get out in nature every single day, smelling the flowers, kissing those grandbabies, touching do it just like I have pine cones and river rocks in my car to just remind myself to just be here now. And my favorite saying is just be where my hands are, because that's where the magic happens. And when we are deeply connecting with another human being on such a deep level, we can't help but be moved. Powerful. It's so powerful. So we have did it. Thank you guys so much. I'm so excited. So we're gonna be breaking out into we're gonna go into happy hour, and let's see. Do you know others? TJ says, do you or others know of ongoing support groups for death doulas? The caregiver support group that is on our it's the Good Death, Good Life group that's on Facebook. I would highly, TJ, if you are involved in that, I would encourage you to get into that group. There are thousands of caregivers, doulas. There are people from all over the world, and that's exactly what that group is for, to connect, share stories, and really be able to connect with one another and let people know where you're at, because I bet that there might be other doulas in your community. We actually formed a group called the End of Life Doulas of Idaho. There's actually 5 doula givers here in the Boise area. And there's a collective that's brewing with death workers. So sometimes you have to create your own community within your community, but really plug into that that Facebook group if you aren't already. So yeah, definitely we have to stay connected and we have to support one another because not everybody understands the work that we do. Like you talk about death and they're like, oh, I gotta go. They're just like they can't go there. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Grace, thank you. She's already gone. And all right, you guys. So let's play. So in this breakout room, we'll take about 30 to 45 minutes. I really want you guys. You're welcome, Clarice. You're welcome to stay on if you want. You don't have to be on camera for the breakout room. Looks like there's a couple people popping in. So let's see. I really just want you guys to just introduce yourself, just share maybe how the training is going, what brought you here, and what do you hope to do with your doula work. So it's really just you guys getting to know one another. And have you guys done breakout rooms? Maybe. Okay, so good because this is my first rodeo for actually putting people in the breakout room. So what will happen is let me count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 of you. So what we could do is we could do I'll do 4 groups. So that'll be a couple people and then maybe a one group with 3 people. So bye, Arena. Thank you so much. So so I'm gonna put you in just small groups and uh then you guys are just gonna share back and forth. I'll take about a half an hour. So maybe 5 to 7 minutes each if you guys want to talk about that. Take turns. But when you get into the room, you're going to receive an invite that says, please join breakout room 1, 2, 3. And then when you get into the room, I want you to it'll still say it's recording. We're gonna not record all of the conversations that are happening. Those are private. But when you get into the room, I need you to click OK or got it. And then you'll be able to stay in the room. If you don't click that button, got it or OK, you're going to come right back into my room and then we'll play this back and forth and you won't be able to get back into that original room. So just do me a favor and hit okay or got it and then you guys will be able to play in there. So just feel free to have fun, get to know one another. Clarice says she's staying. Excellent. Okay, great. All right. Okay, TJ says she's going to have to leave in just a few minutes. Sounds good. Okay, so are you guys ready? Okay. And just feel free to unmute yourself when you get in there. And I'm going to so bear with me as I look at my screen here. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll do 4 rooms and you guys can just we'll, actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll do 3 rooms. Hi, Clarice. Good to see you. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assign you now. So there'll be 2 or 3 of you in a room, and we'll just take a half an hour. So maybe like no, let's see. Yeah, about 7 minutes each. And what I'll do is I'll send you a text or a message in the group that says, okay, we're going to wrap up. I'll bring you back in about a minute. And then there'll be a countdown that will say, the room will be closing in 60 seconds. And then it'll shoot you back to this room. So don't leave the meeting. You can leave the room. So we'll figure it out. And if you pop back in, I will try to get you back in. Okay. Have fun, get to know one another. I'll see you guys in a little bit. So if you see a join, you can go ahead and click that button and it'll take you to your room.
I cut off Sydney by mistake. The last
Okay.
I just instinctively hit the button and she was like mid-sentence and I was like, oh,
I'm right here.
oh, I'm so sorry, Sydney. I hit the button as soon as I saw like we're gonna close and you were like literally in the middle of a sentence. I'm so sorry about that.
I was just saying it was so nice to meet you. That's all.
Okay. Same here.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Christine, I
Oh.
relate so much to you with technology. I'm always behind the eight ball. I need like a tech assistant.
I know, I feel like it, I do fine, talking to people and just, I'm in my realm, but as soon as I do some tech stuff, it just sends me over the edge. And I'm so grateful for the Doula Givers family because they have really just embraced my, my whole, my
Well,
untechiness.
so I'm really grateful for Erica. I'm gonna pick her brain on a weekly basis.
Oh my gosh. Yes, all of these people on the team are just so amazing. And yeah, that's what they're here for, right? That's what they're here for. So please take advantage of Erica on Tuesdays. And then, of course, go ahead.
Just use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back.
No problem. And then you could always do support at doulagivers.com, right? That's always, they're so responsive. So how was that? How was that? Did you guys get to enjoy each other? Feel free to share. You
Sure.
can hop on or raise your hands.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with Julia. I decided to leave my camera on. I cannot sleep, ladies. I had so much coffee last night. I just enjoy talking and listening to you. So it's like, yeah, that's me.
Aw. I'm so glad we get to see your beautiful face. I'm so sorry you probably are so tired. So hopefully you'll be able to get some rest afterwards.
I'm going back to work.
Oh my Oh,
My mom is there to back me up. I run like 7 o'clock this morning. I left the care home and I came to care for my mother-in-law. She's about 12 miles away from the care home.
okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of in two places, you know. So my mother-in-law, my kids, my husband, the care home. So yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, I hope you can practice some self-care in there. I think it's that balance, right? Of you're just right in the thick of things, but
It's very, very, very hard, Christina. It's I always leave myself on a side. I'm trying to take care of everybody. That's why when I heard of the doula training and all that, and I talked with my husband. I was like, maybe it's time for you to get some help with the care home if I still want to keep doing that and just be a support, for the families and for the patients and not being so involved in the direct care. Yeah.
I, I hope that you can get the support that you need. Just my own personal experience of I just put everybody's needs first, and then I got really sick, and then I was not useful to anyone, and so really we can lose ourselves in service, and so I would encourage you, hopefully to try to find balance, and even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, just getting outside and taking a walk, there is something about um, making
That's
that
what I
shift.
found very, very helpful for me when I come here to my mother-in-law. She lives in a farm, at the farm. It's a lot of green here in Oregon and Portland, and it's very quiet where she is at. So yeah, I'm just going outside and get some fresh air, and that's about it. But for me, that's very, very helpful.
Mhm.
But it's like my retreat. You
Yeah.
know,
I love it. I wonder, maybe I'd encourage you, Irina, to put in the group. I'm pretty sure there's some doula students in Oregon, but also,
I look them up. I look them up and see,
okay,
and I couldn't find much, honestly.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
see if there's also the Doula Givers directory. So graduates, there are so I don't know if you've looked at the directory of the Doula Givers graduate to see
Mm-hmm.
if there are, did you look there?
No.
There might be some doula givers in your area that you may not be aware of
Okay.
that might be able to support you. I wish I lived closer because I love that what you're doing there. So, but just try to give yourself some space if you can. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for coming. Yeah, it's beautiful to see you. How did it go with all of you? How did it go? Was good. Anything you guys would like to share? Any ahas or anything like that? I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's already 10 or 10:40 my time.
Well, I would just like to thank you for doing it because I find it a little overwhelming that there's so many in class. And I was going to suggest that maybe in class we could split down but I was really glad you had come to this idea of going into smaller spaces
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little overwhelming to feel like you can connect with really people because there's so many. And
Yeah, I was
I'm,
amazed myself. How many people are they that sign up for this course?
yeah, so, and that's great. But this makes it, yeah, to just have some kind of smaller things, venues, is helpful.
Perfect.
I
Well,
was thinking of a study group or something too. Maybe there would be a venue for people to get together to study or something, or
I will pass all of that information on. That's great feedback, Julia. This is the first time that Doula Givers has been able to do this. And so it's super exciting that this is here and available. I am the first that's supporting Suzanne. So it's been a long time coming. I think she's been hoping to have some extra support because she's been doing it all for so long and she's so incredible and amazing. But I know that she's been needing some help, and so I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be able to step into this space and support you guys. So it's a huge honor to just be able to be in this space. But I will leave that note, and it's great feedback. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying this because I do like the more intimate, but it is kind of easy to kind of get it's so exciting with the live semester, and not everybody is on Facebook too, so this is an incredible opportunity for us to just really connect. We'll keep doing this, so please just keep posting your questions and in the Facebook group. And is there anything else that you guys wanted to share? Anything else? Jackie, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the breakout room today and getting. I like to find out. Well, I guess what everybody's reasoning, why they decided. I mean, what brought them to this point and how they felt, and yeah. So that was good to connect one on one today. So yeah, and you
Good.
do an amazing job too.
Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for that. It's so fun. It's so fun for me because I just am so excited for you guys. This is so big. It's so exciting. It was just so huge. So yeah, honored, honored.
For doing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Jackie, did you have anything to say? It's good to see you.
I'm just gonna say that everything that's been going on, it's amazing, and I'm so glad I was able to join. I sort of feel like I had my final exam before starting the course. My father-in-law passed at the end of March, and it was uh, I guess it ended up as good as it could have been, but I crammed for the competent caregiver. They weren't letting the doula givers out. It was only like a week or two at a time. So I crammed, and he very quickly, he was already in the transition phase when we arrived, and there were some wonderful moments, before he really ended up in that deep sleep. and he did want to go home. He popped out and said home, and and we weren't sure if it was home or back to his because he was in ICU and the ICU wasn't busy, so they were leaving him there. But he did go home to his residence and passed at home. But everything that was taught, at least in the Confident Caregiver that I'm reading the book and the Confident Caregiver on the plane from California to Ohio. It's like cramming for the exam. Oh my God, what's going on? And talking with the hospice nurses and the palliative care team and the nurses in general. It's like, wow, there's so much to learn. And I feel like I took the final exam before the class. But even that is amazing, the Confident Caregiver class. So I'm trying not to, get too far the horse in front of the cart. But it's like, oh my gosh, this is something we really need, because it just is. And one thing, I don't know if you cover this later. My father-in-law had Parkinson's, and he had an abnormal bone spurs that pressed on his windpipe and throat, so he couldn't swallow. So for the last, we figured 5 years, he's been on a feeding tube. So the whole thing of starving the person because they weren't giving him food through his feeding tube, and we kept saying, when you're sick, you don't want to eat. So that sort of thing to keep my mother-in-law from saying we're starving him to death. And hospice is you're giving up on him and all these things. But back to if someone is on a feeding tube and can't swallow and they're passing, you've kind of missed the two big tells that they're going. So it was, how do you even know? And I don't know if you're going to cover the color of the urine in the bag, the catheter bag, because it was definitely moving toward, iced tea to coffee colored. So I knew something, but I'm like, don't look at the bag, don't freak out the people. It's like those sort of things that if you're in a medical facility, you're going to have different cues than if you're at home in your own bed or even in a hospital bed at home. So I don't know if it's covered in the future, but just that was a question sort of for the future.
Yeah, we definitely will
Thank you.
talk. You're so welcome. And you're right, class is in session, right? For a lot of us, we've in my mind, there is just no coincidence why we are all here. Like we have our past experiences, we have, you know, just life is in full session. And so some of us have kind of we're on the fast track, so we get these lessons really fast. And so yes, there is so much, and I'm so proud of you for being able to, do all of the studying when you're in the midst of all of that, because I'm sure that you were quite effective. Like, just fly, girl, fly. Like, you're building the plane as you're flying. And so sometimes we have to do that. And I think too, oftentimes, we think that we're fully prepared. We're not ever fully prepared. And this is your person, right? This is your person. And so yes, we will talk a lot about the disease processes and actually physiologically what happens to the body as the body begins to shut down. And, there's this whole kind of not controversy, but discussion around feeding and not feeding. But Suzanne has a great example of a client that the doctor had said, if we don't put the feeding tube in, she's going to die. One daughter said yes, one son said no, and there was this conflict. And really, I think what was unfortunate is the doctor taken a little bit more time and explained, if we don't put the feeding tube, this is what's going to happen. This is a natural part of the dying process. And really what happens sometimes when people introduce food, nutrition, and liquids, that can really cause people to be uncomfortable, because as they start to
Transition. Yeah.
it begins to really cause some discomfort. And so we'll talk more about that. But I mean, you were spot on. Urine color, it starts to darken, the kidneys start to
It
shut
is
down. We begin to start eliminating, the elimination of our bowels and bladders start to decrease. And so you were just spot on, Jackie. You're already doulaing, like you're just kind of going through the motions to really help prepare you to step into this space for others. But it's beautiful. Yeah, we'll go over into so much more detail about all of that. Yeah, those are important conversations to have, and being able to recognize that, oh, okay, we're at this stage and what we can do to support people. Hard conversations. And I'm such a big advocate of VSED, which voluntary stopping eating and drinking. I'm a big advocate of that because and Suzanne will talk more about that. She's spoken in other in her Good Death book, right? She's talked about VSED, and I am a big advocate of that because not that I'm promoting someone to hasten their death, but I really I've witnessed it enough that it really empowers people to make a decision. If their disease process is far enough along, then they can make a choice to voluntary stopping and eating and drinking. And actually, when people stop eating and drinking, they become quite euphoric, and it mimics the natural dying process, and and we do want people to be a little bit more on the dehydrated side than continue with nutrition when the body isn't. Just a lot of things can happen when the body isn't able to properly digest and function with all of the extra stuff that we put on board. When people stop eating and drinking, that means that they're going to have their end of life experience. And so we have to prepare for that, but giving you guys the right tools and setting you up for success on how to navigate those hard conversations. So I'm going to let you go. We've been talking way too long. Oh my gosh, it's been beautiful. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay connected in the group and always go to support@doulagivers.com. And otherwise, I'll see you guys on Tuesday in class. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome, you
you.
guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.